Hey everyone, I'm coming at you from the office slash playroom, which is I know where many of us find ourselves these days, to share a bit about the Garment's perspective on the Business of Fashion article around rewiring the fashion system. In that article, they talk about three main things that they think need to be modified that haven't been working in the old-fashioned system pre-COVID. So when it comes to revising the fashion calendar, I think this is something that slow fashion and many consumers have realized is not sustainable in either business or ecological sense for some time. And in terms of the idea of reworking the fashion calendar so that it is more aligned with the way consumers actually want to buy, we think is a great thing. In terms of reimagining fashion shows, I've always been like very perplexed by fashion shows and the amount of money and time and energy and all of the things that go into them. And I think there is beauty and something in the show of it all. I think there is an opportunity to use fashion shows, as they talk about in the article, as something to really connect with the consumer. What I would add to that is I think there's an opportunity to actually use fashion shows and diverse fashion shows that show real bodies and real people as a way to actually sell. And I feel excited about that. The third thing that they talk about is breaking the addiction to discounting. Again, this is something that I think slow fashion has been onto for a long time, and many of the companies that are moving towards greater transparency in their models have been teaching consumers about discounting and the way in which that works. And often it doesn't work out very well for the people at the bottom who are crafting these clothes and making them with their hands. And so certainly that is something that we think needs to change, and something that I think requires quite a bit of education for consumers, because many people are really used to shopping at a discount. But that's something that and in the industry as a whole can really work on and do together. What I'd like to add to those three, which we completely agree with and think are great, but we'd like to add a couple more that we see from our perspective at the Garment. The first is an over-reliance on retail stores. And I think this is something that is sort of a legacy of a way of shopping that in many ways has passed and has been superseded by online shopping. Of course, there is still something incredible about being able to touch and feel a garment within a boutique. And I think that there are far too many of those in-person experiences, given the way that the world is going and the way that people are buying online. And I think while that might feel scary for lots of people, and in certain cases, it is, I think there's tremendous opportunity in the fact that I believe that we can use influencers, online community builders as the new stores, which is effectively what the Garment has done, is basically linked a community of people who want to buy fewer, better, responsibly made things with the makers who make those things. And we think that this is a model that not just we can do, that many people around the world can do in order to help the makers who are making these things connect them to the people who want them. The next thing that we see in terms of something that needs to really shift in the fashion industry overall is this blatant consumerism that the fashion industry has really kept going for some time. And I think it's important to acknowledge that in this overall reimagining of the fashion system. What we at the Garment have done to address that is, from a revenue perspective for ourselves, made it so that our only revenue doesn't come from selling clothes. So in addition to the revenue that we gain by connecting people to responsible brands, we also have an online membership platform that provides a way for us to give something to our community members that is valuable to them. Help with styling, help with feeling more content with what they already have, education around ethics and fashion. Give that to them, as opposed to continuing to say, buy our clothes, buy our clothes, buy our clothes. And what that does for us as a brand, and what we think other brands could be doing, is doing something similar, where we have a way to connect our communities in a deeper way, and in a way that generates revenue without having to force people to buy more clothes. So in summary, in addition to agreeing with the 3 points from the Business of Fashion article around rewiring the fashion system by revising the fashion calendar, reimagining fashion shows, and breaking the addiction to discounting, the Garment's 2 cents is that we also need to discontinue our blatant overconsumption in the clothing space, and also that we need to reduce our reliance on retail stores and begin to see influencers as the new way to connect people and the brands that they want. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.